Well, we're continuing in the book of Philemon, and hopefully you've done that background work and just kind of checked it out. Here's what it's about, here's who's writing, and here's to whom they're writing and why they're writing, and kind of getting a sense of the original context, and I'm listening in on a conversation. And you know, I think the lesson that's important to pass on that I've had in my own life as I have approached Philemon, it's been a long time since I really looked at it and read at it. And remember, our goal is to become kind of miniature experts on this particular book. Let's just isolate ourselves to it. And Philemon is actually a power pack thing that we'll talk about. But my first encounter with it, and this time around, I didn't get much the first run, in the first read, and there were a couple reasons. One was I was reading it in the New American Standard Version of the Bible, and which I bounce back and forth between different translations for reasons that I'm going to give in a bonus track. I'm going to talk about Bible translation issues. I'm not going to do that here, but the New American Standard strength is it's trying to be very word-to-word literal, and it's respected for that reason. Now, that's good on one hand, but on the other hand, that causes sort of a language barrier almost, that the sentences don't flow real well. They don't sound the way normal people talk in conversation. And that's where the New International Version is stronger, and some of the other versions are stronger because they sound the way we talk. And that's one of the great tensions in Bible translation work. But again, I addressed that. But I read it first, so I didn't get much out of it, and it felt kind of just kind of a little bit hard to get through. And so I read it in the NIV, and it stayed that way. But the lesson was this, is stay with it, because now that I've done it a few times, I've read through the book. Again, it's a one-pager, so it's very brief, I had to follow my own rule of, again, I'm not there to grab something for myself. I'm there to listen and just kind of take it in. And I've been listening to the flow of thought, and at first it was like, yeah, that's nice, okay, whatever. But the more I'm listening to it with each pass, now I'm hearing it differently. And sometimes you just need to be patient and remember that just allow yourself to get in there, read it. Okay, first day is like, okay, I did my 5 minutes, I prayed about it. Remember, be honest, pray. Okay, Lord, I didn't get a lot out of that, but okay, there it is. Come back the next day. But now it's settling down into me. And what's really striking me is Paul, even in the letter, he calls himself an old man, and he's talking from his house arrest he's done a lot of the things that he did in his life. He's had his experience of seeing Jesus, and he's gone and planted churches, and he's been beat up, and he's been stoned to death, or left for dead rather, and he's gone through these beatings and imprisonments and riots and drama, and he's sort of on the post side of quite a life. And if you'll be patient with it, you'll hear that. You'll hear that years of experience and depth and wisdom is what stands out so far to me. It's not so much the particular words. We'll talk about those. But remember who's talking is a good way to sort of get yourself there. It'd be like if you had the old question, if you could sit down with any historical figure, you have to say Jesus, outside of Jesus, in history, and really sit down with them and over a cup of coffee and explore them. The first rule of the conversation would be, remember who you're talking to. If this person has been heroic and has achieved amazing things, you're sitting down with Winston Churchill or something, and you're just remember where they're coming from and listen to them towards the end of their life. It helps you respect it more. And that's who you're listening to. You're listening to Paul on house arrest. He's an older man. He's been through a ton of stuff, and he's talking that way. And you can learn a lot about how guys like that talk. And that's what the letter sounds like. So pay attention to not just the background and who's writing, but the depth of who's writing, who they are, their character. And you'll listen to it with different ears, and you'll hear different words, and you'll respect the words just that much more, because they're not only God's words, God breathed out, but they are coming from a life that is truly high impact and amazing. So listen to it that way, and then you pay attention to the details. Kind of goes back to the same principle as all scripture is God breathed. So keep that in mind, read through it again and enjoy it, and we're going to kind of take that attitude towards it. I think it'll do a lot for your life.